Hello, friends. Welcome to Level Up with Debbie Neal. I am your host. There is nowhere I would rather be than right here, right now with you. This podcast is all about leveling up in all aspects of our lives. Thank you for being here. I am so grateful. I'm excited to be on this journey with you. Together, we are leveling up. You ready? Are you a network marketing professional? Are you looking to get crystal clear on your goals and what you have to do to achieve them? If the answer is yes, keep listening. My friends over at 90 Day Habits created a journal specifically for network marketers. It is the exact blueprint they use to reach the top 1% in their network marketing company. This 90 Day Habits journal will help you stay intentional, organized, and build habits to keep you on track toward your business goals. I use this journal. I love the creators of this journal. I love the energy around it, and I love the results it brings to my daily organization. Leaders make quick decisions. Then they make the right decision. Make the decision to commit to your business today with the 90 Day Habits Journal available at 90dayhabits.co, 90dayhabits.co, and use Level Up 15, all capital, for 15% off your order. Hello, my Level Up family. I'm so excited to be here. Happy May. I absolutely love the month of May because I really feel like we're getting into the spring right now. Like, I live on the East Coast of the United States, and April, we get a few teaser days. Even March, we get a few teaser days. But May, we are getting into the beautiful weather. Everything's in bloom, fresh, new beginnings, fresh start. Also, my baby boy, who's not my baby boy anymore, he's 22 years old, is graduating this month from college. If anybody follows me on Instagram, which is Debbie_Neal, you'll see quite a bit about it. But I still call him Little T, and he's a pretty big boy. So anyway, I'm in love with the month of May. And it's really appropriate for what we're going to be talking about today. I am very sentimental. I actually started my entrepreneur journey in May. I started it May 30th, 2006, which actually ties in perfectly to the topic we are going to be talking about today, which is sacrifice. We're going to be talking about sacrifice. A lot of times people connect the word sacrifice to something traumatic and something bad and a takeaway and something devastating. We do that psychologically to ourselves instead of really realizing it's simply an exchange. What are we willing to sacrifice for what we want in life? So we're going to get really real for a little bit. And so sacrifice is a word that sometimes people avoid. Like, why are we avoiding this word? And so I kind of want to ask you this to think about. When did hard work become a turnoff? Like, is it like something where I don't want to attach the word hard with work? Like, when you love what you do, you'll never work another day in your life mentally, right? Because you're loving it and you're in it and it's flowing, but it does take effort, right? I consider it inspired action, but when did hard work become a turnoff, right? So we hear the word balance over and over, okay? And I hear people not being willing to make sacrifices to build a business. So remember this, I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to offend you. I'm here to speak life over you, and I'm here to speak truth. So let's talk about entrepreneurship for a minute. And first, I want to start by saying that I understand that being an entrepreneur is not for everyone, right? Maybe corporate is your thing. Maybe sales is your thing. Maybe being a sports coach or a personal coach is your thing. Whatever your thing is, to be in the top percent, to have what you really want in life, success is necessary. So no matter what you want in life, there's always going to be a price to pay. There are absolutely no shortcuts. Success requires sacrifice. Your goals and vision, they're not going to magically appear. It will take work and sacrifice. Every single thing is going to be an exchange. So we don't grow to success without giving up something. If you aren't willing to make sacrifices, you're just simply not going to build the momentum and the mindset to activate your goals. Like, I love when people say, like, I really want this, but I'm not willing to do this. Then just be okay with the fact that you're not going to be building momentum and the mindset required to achieve your goals. When we aren't willing to make sacrifices, you know what we're doing? We're making our goals unattainable. I was once in corporate. So I was the director of training for a large drugstore chain, and I want to share my sacrifices at that time in my life. So when I was working my job, my hours, scheduled hours was 8 hours a day. Okay. I was supposedly 40 hours, 8 full hours out of my home per day. But let's also be real. It was not 8 hours a day. It was more like 10 hours a day because things came up, people I was talking to, working with some of my managers, whatever I was doing, I was not getting up and walking out of my office at whatever time it was, 5 or 6 o'clock. Okay. I commuted 45 minutes each way. So now we're looking at 11 and a half hours physically out of my home and away from my family. So I was fortunate enough to have my mom live really close by, and she was watching Brooke when I went to work. So I was a mom at the time, but only had one baby in my life. But here's what happened when we talk about sacrifice. I missed Brooke's first word. It happened during the 11 and a half hours during the day when she was wide awake. I missed her first crawl. I missed the first time she pulled herself up. I missed her first step. And it hurt my heart, but I knew I was working to support my family. Okay. And I just want to give a little perspective here. It's amazing that when someone has a job, their sacrifices are commendable, right? So I was away from my family for 11 and a half hours. I had no choice. So it was commendable. But when somebody builds a business where we technically have choices of the hours and time we put in, it's sometimes viewed as selfish, right? So think about that. So I worked until Brooke was 2 years old. And then I walked away from my job and I was a stay-at-home mom for 5 years. So over those 5 years, I had 3 more children, Tyler, Bailey, and Ryan. So there was still sacrifices taking place. There was an exchange, right? I walked away from my job. I was home with my kids. I sacrificed my income to be home. I walked away from a 6-figure income. There's that word again, sacrifice. Everything in life is an exchange. I got to be with my kids. I didn't have to be out of my house 11 and a half hours a day, but I was sacrificing the income. Everything's an exchange. So first I gave up my time for income. So when I was working, I gave up my time for income. Then I gave up my income for time. Gosh, but then here I was in my heart. I wanted both. Is that wrong? Because I didn't think it was wrong. I wanted both. So did anybody ever tell you that you can't have and create every single thing that you desire in life? I wanted time and I also wanted income. So now what? I didn't want to go back to work full time. I didn't want to work for anybody else. I wanted to work on my schedule. I wanted to be home when my kids were home. I wanted to be there when they were sick. I didn't want to be told what I was worth. I didn't want to be out of my home and away from my kids for almost 12 hours a day. Now, that is what it took for me at that time to earn a 6-figure income that I was earning. So what did I do? I started a business. Someone shared an opportunity with me that had the potential to be my solution. So notice I use the word potential because nothing in life is guaranteed. I was starting an effort-based business. I saw what was average as far as my earning potential. I saw the time frame that people promoted in the company on average. And I decided that I was going to go for it. I was willing to sacrifice more than others. So let's also be real. Every single one of us have the same 24 hours in a day, but most of us waste so much time. I made really great use of my time and I was going to give it all that I had. It had the potential to earn me considerably more than I was earning in the job that I had previous. So what did I do? I went all in. I didn't know if there was water in the pool. I ran like head first, big leap, dove in. And for 5 years for me, at minimum, it was a whirlwind. But what happened is I started this snowball. And the more I worked, the more I grew, the more I expanded. That ball got bigger and began to catch steam and momentum. I had a crystal clear why. I had an income goal. I knew what that income would do for my family, and I worked really hard. But I can tell you this in complete integrity, I never worked 12 hours a day. So why are some of us so willing to work that long for someone else, but not for ourselves? Why are so many willing to do whatever it takes at a job to make somebody else wealthy, but when it comes to their dreams and goals, they want complete balance? And I may not be popular for saying this, but I think we overuse the word balance today. Balance today seems like a word used to avoid the uncomfortable. We don't create balance when we pull back. We don't create balance when we're on and off. We do not create balance putting in effort for a short time, then enjoying time that we didn't earn for an extended period of time. So I just want to go over a few things that require sacrifice for success. Number one, sacrificing the person you are for the person you want to become. Because change is the only constant. And as we begin a journey to success, we must be willing to sacrifice who we are, the way we see obstacles, sacrifice our current mindset, how we handle adversity, how we overcome obstacles, the way we believe. We are all capable of change. It comes down to being willing, to being open. Change is uncomfortable. Sacrificing who we are to become who we want forces us sometimes to look at our relationships, our friendships, our conversations, and how we spend our time. Number two, success requires sacrificing things that you are currently doing to create new habits. So take a good look at your current goal and your daily habits and your thinking. What does your goal demand that you change about yourself? Because we must be willing to sacrifice the person that we are today for the person that we want to become. Are you willing to grow into your goal on a personal level? It means sacrificing who you are for the new version of you. It takes sacrificing good for great. It requires you to give up something that's comfortable. Is your current level of success comfortable? Does it require that much more than you give? So it doesn't require that much more than you're currently giving. That's comfortable. It allows you a good enough life. Are you here for good enough? Average are simply not willing to give up short-term habits for long-term results and success. We get so lost in the moment. Success requires short-term pain. It does. Be okay with it. We always have a choice. The pain of growth and sacrifice or the pain of regret. They both hurt. Are you willing to eliminate and sacrifice some activities that aren't contributing to your growth? TV, Netflix, scrolling, shopping online. No, I love to shop online. Talking about people, overthinking your life. Every second invested in these habits, you're putting off success. So again, I want balance. I don't want to make sacrifices. But you'll spend 3 hours a day looking at somebody else's nonsense online. That's what I'm talking about. We use the word balance to avoid the uncomfortable. And I've said this many times. When we don't reach a goal, it comes down to one of two things. We simply didn't want it bad enough, or we tried to bargain with the price. You can't bargain with the price of success. You must be willing to pay the price in full. So decide what you want. Decide the price that you're willing to pay to have it and create it, and be willing to pay the price in full in advance. You can't achieve a goal without paying the price. And that price might be an emotional price. It might be a mental price, like working on your mindset, your positive thinking, like getting rid of limiting beliefs. It could be a financial, right? Might cost money to do what you want to do. It could be physical. It could be pushing yourself, challenging yourself, whether that's exercise, whether that's, building your muscle, whatever it is, social time. You might be sacrificing. I sacrificed a lot of going out with friends or going to a party or doing things. I made a choice. I wanted a life they didn't have. Most of the social gatherings that I was going out with at the time, quite honestly, were a bunch of women talking about how they would go shopping and hide the receipts or hide the Amazon packages. And to me, that sounded so small, such scarcity. I could stay in those conversations, but I needed to change what I was doing socially to change what I wanted in life financially. There's a price. So think about your goal. Think about what it will take. Decide if you're willing. And for me, I was. From day one, I was already on the other side. I already had a job. I was already away from my family 11 and a half hours a day. I worked for someone. I wanted to create a life on my terms. I had a job that I was removed from my home. I had a mom basically bring up Brooke till she was 2. Okay. And that was 60 to 75 hours a week. Somebody else was taking care of my baby. 2 years of that was enough to make me so hungry and willing to do whatever it took. Nights out, no question. Missing some family events, no question. Being so intensely focused that sometimes that socially I was not fully present or said no to invitations, no question. Invested in trainings and trips to grow my business? No question. I wanted a life that most people dream about. But here's the thing. Most people talk about it and they wish for it. But when the road meets the rubber or the rubber meets the road, they're like, I need balance. I just can't do it. Well, isn't it uncomfortable to not go on family vacations or to maybe not pay for your child's education or to say no to things because financially you can't? Again, it's an exchange. In order to have what most people don't, you need to be willing to do what most people won't. That was me. That is me. And that will always be me. The truth is most people aren't willing to sacrifice. They want it all and are willing to give it their all. If you're not willing to make the sacrifices, like, I'm really sorry to tell you that it does require it. If you are willing, you're one step ahead. Success comes down to will. When we aren't willing to make sacrifices, we hold ourselves back. We don't put in the effort. We fear the effort. We overthink the effort. We end up paralyzed. We procrastinate. We get distracted. We make excuses. This is what is creating your life. And until you're willing to make the sacrifices, we keep our goals and we keep our dreams at bay. Nothing will change. Time will pass anyway. Every single thing has a price. You must pay the price. So I want to go over some benefits of sacrifices, because on the other end, it's beautiful. We hear the word sacrifice, just like I said at the beginning, we think it's painful and a challenge and it's uncomfortable and it's ugly. But on the other side, it's really, really, really beautiful. So what are some of the benefits of sacrifice when it comes to success? A better life, more choices. You're building skills. You're building discipline. You're meeting goals. You have a new mindset. You have a bigger vision, success, showing others what is possible. Growing your influence, building your leadership, creating energy, raising your vibe. Building the life of your dreams takes sacrifice. Building choices takes sacrifices. Becoming your best self takes sacrifices. Showing your family and your team what is possible takes sacrifices. Design your life. Everyone is so busy earning a living. Be the person who designs a life. Live life on your terms. Create choices. Create time flexibility. Have time with the ones you love. Be fully present. These things aren't created overnight. You have to give it time. You have to keep your eyes on your vision. You have to know what you're working for. So what's your income goal? What's on your dream board? What is going to fuel you and give you the passion to get up and get to work? For me, it was a college education for my kids. With merit, even with merit and outstanding grades, because they were all honors, they all took AP courses, they all got a 4.0. It was still going to cost me $1 million to send them to college. Earning that takes sacrifices. And if I didn't know that and understand that, I was completely delusional. You can't do something a little bit and earn that kind of extra money to put your kids through college. We're living in a world today that everyone wants it, but they curl up at the first sign of adversity and they shrink back. And all of a sudden they want balance. It's avoiding growth. And I love that. I have balance in my life. I do. I still work. I'm always working. I always want to level up. I'm always looking for the next version of me, but I have time. I have choices. I have flexibility. You have the ability to create that, but it doesn't happen without sacrifices. There are many times in my journey that I felt pain. I felt uncomfortable. I felt fear. I felt doubt. And I was tempted to glance at mediocre. We all are, but I choose sacrifice over comfort. Are you willing to make sacrifices to create the life you dream about? What does your dream life look like? Do you see it? Does it inspire you? Is it vivid? Is it bold? So think about it. We view sacrifices required to succeed as so big. I see them as small. I see them as worth it. It's all perspective. It's all perspective. So next week, we're going to expand a little bit because success takes sacrifices, but we're also going to go over what else it takes to succeed. So wishing you all an incredible May. I love you, friends. And for all of those moms out there, actually, I think we have one more episode to wish you a happy Mother's Day, but have the most incredible Mother's Day. You are queens and you deserve it.